1990 kwalenda ngoko yatengelage kale kyaitumbe ishoneshongana iliandu malenda koigwa ng'ano itangetaithia ng'ano itali na kiguni. Yeah, my son, those are the stories, but these are the lessons. If they ask you about some of the nuggets your dad shared with you, then these 34 lessons will be one of your reference points. In fact, you don't have to wait until you are 34. These are the lessons, my son. Lesson 1 to lesson 3 are talking about being personal. Lesson 1. Be proud of who you are. Everybody else is taken. Never be ashamed of your name, your age, and your mother tongue. Lesson 2. You deserve to be happy by doing what is both right and not against the law. Lesson 3. You can't change people. You can only influence them. People will only change when they choose to change, but not because you are telling them to change. My son, lesson 4 to lesson 8 talks about building a business around your personality. Lesson 4. You must beat your own drum daily. Lesson 5. Learn to celebrate small wins. Waiting for a big win is a scam. Lesson 6. Save. Save money every month. No matter how small you think the saving is, that is what will save you big. Lesson 7. People will always find a way of accusing you. Ask always ask yourself one question. Why am I doing this? If you find an interesting answer, go ahead, do it, let them be. Lesson 8. Your health or your wealth. If you can, go for both. It's possible, my son. Lesson 9 and 10 talks about making decisions in life. Lesson 9. Please make a decision even if it's a long one. Being indecisive is not a good place to be. If you feel stuck, seek guidance. Lesson 10. Never wait for the new year to start anew. Start now. Start on a Tuesday. Start on the 16th. My son. Lesson 11 to 16 talks about leadership and governance. Lesson 11. Never defend your government or fight it unless it pays you to do that work. Just pray for it. Lesson 12. We will do it. That statement alone is a scam. Much respect to the people who say, I will do it. I. Lesson 13. You should say it in the meeting. Don't wait until the meeting is over to learn to a few people how much they wanted to say a point. Lesson 14. If you think threats can work, think again. Lesson 15. If you can delegate everything as a leader, please do. If the work is done well, credit will always come back to you. Lesson 16. Always leave the big picture to your juniors, while you take care of the small things. All praise will come back to you anyway, my son. Lesson 17, 18, and 19 talks about religion. Lesson 17. Never tell someone to abandon their faith. To most people, faith is the only thing they have and are proud of. Lesson 18. If you get a chance to speak to dads, remember to tell them that their sons and daughters should learn about God for the first time from them. Lesson 19. Pray. Pray God daily so that you don't become a genuine problem to be solved. My son, lesson 20 to 23 talks about reading and writing. Lesson 20. Every year, make a point of buying at least one book and read it. Knowledge compounds. Lesson 21. It's fine to have mixed thoughts in your mind, so write them down. This is how the journey to clarity and action starts. Lesson 22. Document your process. You never know who might be interested in buying a copy of that process. Lesson 23. If you know how to give feedback, always give it. The world is secretly craving for it. Feedback must necessarily not be positive, but at least let it be honest. My son, lesson 24 to 27 talks about being a good person. Lesson 24. Money is good as a means to facilitate life, but not as a means to dominate it. Lesson 25. If you feel the need to wait for that day, when you feel rich to be charitable, you never be charitable. Don't wait. Start with the little you have. Lesson 26. If your circumstance allows you to help someone, please help. Although not everyone you help will be grateful, you'll be happy that you acted in time. Lesson 27. Be a person of humility. And by humility I mean by accepting who you are and who you are not, and accepting what you have and what you don't have. My son, lesson 28 to 31 talks about media and news. Lesson 28. News is nothing more than a set of information meant to make you feel sad and angry about yourself. Lesson 29. Every time you read a news headline, always ask yourself, who is benefiting from this? 100% of the time, it will be never about you, but it will be made to appear as if it's you. Lesson 30. If you must criticize, never do it in public. Never. Save the kindest, nicest, and brotherly words for the public. Lesson 31. Never argue on social media. If someone here and there tells you that a yellow elephant can fly, tell them thanks and move on. My son, lesson 32 and 33 talks about family. Lesson 32. Don't fight your brother, don't fight your sister, don't fight your father, don't fight your mother. There's a difference between a home and a family. Lesson 33. If you start your own family, remember two things: to pray for it and to offer counsel. My son, lesson 34 is the last lesson, but not the least, and not the only one. Lesson 34 says, remember God in your youth. Mkumbuke Muumba wako wakati wa ujana wako. It's not good later in life to sing, Fatuma na nyambula na moiletu akinyi matoire mananagia majetaga mundosi leu niyendalaga ngirito-ini cianduka na ndingĩona mũheio na watu wetu wa kũnyua. It's not good to regret. When you have the time to mitigate, to do what you can do to avoid such regrets. So, in case